Hello, beautiful souls. I am Isabel Gloria. Welcome to Rooted in the Cosmos podcast. I wish to empower you to seek truth from within and to reconnect with your cosmic self by sharing my own wisdom and journey with you. I am so grateful that you're spending this time with me today. And now, let us explore our roots in the cosmos. I'm Isabel, I'm your host, and I'm really excited for this episode because today we are going to talk about the cosmic self. This is one of my favorite topics ever. I talk about this a lot, and very frequently because I feel like it is so important for us to understand what the cosmic self truly is and how we can connect to it and all of that stuff. And we're going to talk about all of this today. So I think in spiritual community, we are really obsessed with self-improvement, like really obsessed. And on one hand, this is amazing because we're constantly working on ourselves and we're trying to improve our mindset and all of that stuff. But I feel like it also can be quite toxic if you don't have balance in it. And that's because I love to call the higher self the cosmic self. Because for me, it is actually the same, like the higher self is the same like the cosmic self, but I think the cosmic self, that word describes it much better because there's no hierarchy. Like, I don't think it is a good thing to think about yourself as a lower being just because you're incarnated in a physical reality. That doesn't mean that it makes you lower. Like, you're still all of that other aspects of you that are super high vibrational, high dimensional. Like, you're not just your human self. And I don't think that a higher self, even though I use that word too sometimes, I don't think that word is really suitable for what it truly is. So I like to call it the cosmic self. But just for understanding, when I talk about the cosmic self, I'm talking about what most people refer to as the higher self. So I think I'm just gonna start by explaining what the cosmic self truly is. So, like I said, the cosmic self or the higher self is a consciousness, and basically it is your soul on other dimensions. So it's a consciousness beyond your human self, and it is more knowledgeable and on a higher dimension. It is the link between source energy, the Godhead, all that is, and our human expression or our physical expression. The higher self or the cosmic self is basically the consciousness that wanted to experience life on Earth and decided to project itself further into a vibrational blueprint that is sustainable on Earth. So our cosmic self is the being we have been projected forth from as we incarnated on Earth. And it is also the being that we are going to come back to once we leave this incarnation and we are in between incarnations. It is a separated consciousness, you could say, but it's not really separated from you. It's just like it has its own consciousness, and it is an incorporeal consciousness. Like, it's not a being that you can physically touch. It's a consciousness. And it is the accumulation of everything and everyone you've ever been. It has all the information that you are bringing back to your own cosmic self because you are experiencing life and incarnations on different dimensions, different planets and all of that. And you are giving that information and the experience and the expansion that happens back to your own higher self, to your own cosmic being. There are many different incarnations and fractals of your cosmic self, having an individual experience simultaneously that belong to the same cosmic self. So you basically, on a higher dimension, you decide that you want to split yourself in endless parts. Like, it can be a lot of parts that have different experiences, and the overhead of that that all is your cosmic self, and it gets all the information from all the different fractals of your consciousness. Another thing that is interesting to say is that our cosmic self does not experience attachment to any human desires, needs, or even emotions. It is able to perceive those, but it is not attached to them. Like, it doesn't have any thoughts of good and evil or any other polarity. It's just not, it's really neutral, and the higher you go up in dimensions, the less individual something becomes. And this is why your higher self, your cosmic self, is not judgmental at all. When talking about the cosmic self, we also have to talk about dimensions. I just introduced the topic and I've already talked a lot about dimensions. So when I want to explain to you where the cosmic self is located, I have to go in depth with dimensions, and I try to make it as easy as possible so you can really picture it in your head. So the cosmic self is multidimensional. It is not in one place because it spreads through different dimensions. And a dimension is not really a physical place. It is a frequency that exists simultaneously to the frequency of your physical human self. So because that frequency is higher than your human self, and than what you can perceive with your physical senses, you're unable to directly connect to your cosmic self and just talk to it like you would with a regular person living in 3D. That's not really possible for you. You can imagine it like light waves. Infrared and UV light is around us, and we can be in one room with that exact light, but we will not see it with our eyes, we will not feel it on our skin. It's just not visible for us to, we can't perceive it with our senses, but this doesn't make it not real. So it's very real and it can be measured. You just don't perceive it in any way, even though you're sharing a room with those light waves. So that's a good example, and that's similar to dimensions. Dimensions work in a way that you could be in your bedroom and there's a whole other world going on, and you just don't see it, don't feel it, don't perceive it, because you are not vibrating on that frequency, on that dimension. So you're just not in that wavelength that you could perceive it. You would have to change your frequency in order to see what's really going on, and this is happening all the time. And sometimes it overlaps, and some people are psychic and they can feel certain things, or I think everyone has psychic abilities, no matter if they believe it or not, and it really depends on how much you let it happen and accept that you have those, because intuition is a very real thing and everybody has it. And same with psychic abilities. I think a lot of people have those and they just don't want to see it because it is scary, or they think, wow, what would someone think about me if I told them that I see like a ghost in my room or something. And so I think that's how this happens, that some people think they have a haunted house or something. They use a word like I see a ghost or a spirit because they don't know how to describe it any better, and what they really see is they are able to peek into another dimension and see what's going on there because for some reason they have access to it. Think of the dimension as layers, but I have to mention they are not really layers, they are different frequencies, but it really helps us to understand it better if we imagine them as layers on top of each other. So your physical body is in the third dimension, like your physical body, your surroundings, your room, your home. When you walk out on the street, this is the third dimension. It's like this physical realm that you're able to touch, to feel, that you are hyper aware of, because most people think that is all there is, but it's not that way. There's a lot more, but this is the third dimension, like the world you're living in. And the fourth dimension would be where your thoughts are, where your imagination is, where your dreams are. So it is really, really, really connected to the third dimension because we are constantly switching between those. Whenever you're thinking something, you can touch it, you can see it, you can perceive it in a physical way, but it is still real and it is happening in the fourth dimension. So whatever you're thinking, dreaming, making up in your head, it's not just thoughts that go nowhere, it's the fourth dimension. And this is very connected to the third because, as you already know, you're thinking all day, you're making up scenarios in your head all day, and this is very real, and this is what we would call the fourth dimension. The higher self, the cosmic self, starts like in quotation marks, at the fifth dimension. So it spreads throughout all the higher dimensions, and I think it's really hard to put a number on because there are so many sub-dimensions within those dimensions. And to explain that would be a whole other episode, because it's a lot to talk about, and I'm very happy to do that in the future, but that would be too much for now. So we're just gonna go simple and talk about the fifth, sixth, and seventh dimension to make it easier. But know that there are many more, and that it doesn't really end somewhere. It just, the higher you go, the less individual the experiences become, and it all ends at one point in the source energy, in all that is. And you can imagine it like roots. It starts in one place as oneness, and it spreads like roots in the earth. And there are many, many roots, and they are connected and stemming from the same source, but they all have individual experiences, and they branch off in their different directions. So your cosmic self is starting on the fifth dimension and goes up all the way up to source. And you are able to connect with your higher self, mostly with the fifth and sixth dimensional expression of your higher self, because even though dimensions are not literal layers, the higher layer would be your cosmic self, and the lower layer would be your physical human self. And the gap between those two, like third and sixth dimension, for example, is not that big, and you're still able to connect to these dimensions. And with the higher dimensions, you can also connect to those, but the communication gets very cryptic because it's getting lost in translation. There's such a huge gap between those dimensions that it's really hard to connect. So that's why you're mostly connecting with your cosmic self in the fifth and sixth dimension. This means your cosmic self is fully aware of you because it is above you, if we take that example with the layers. And it can look down on you and on your human expression or any other physical expression you're experiencing simultaneously. And it can look down to its roots. But you, as one of those roots, you cannot look up and see the cosmic self like it can see you. Your cosmic self is fully aware of you and is probably watching you right now as you're listening to see if it sparks something in you. But you're not fully aware of your cosmic self. And as humans, we forget about our cosmic self as soon as we incarnate on this planet. Because this planet, it is a little bit like a computer game and like a simulation. And to make it look real and to make it feel real, you just forget about all the stuff you already know, because that would destroy the point of being here. Like, if you know the rules to a game, you don't want to play it anymore. So your cosmic self is aware of you, and you have agreed to not being aware of it before coming here. It is something, it's like a rule that you have to agree to when coming to Earth, is that you forget everything. And it's this amnesia you fall in, and you're okay with that on a soul level. But as soon as we get here, it sometimes sucks because we have no concept of existence, and literally the most important questions are just not being answered for us, and we're just like on this planet not knowing what's going on. And this is our task, to have that spiritual awakening and to reconnect with our cosmic self and to remember all of this and why we are here. So this is our task, and one of the tasks that we have on Earth, and that everyone has. And it can take many, many, many incarnations for us to understand it and to realize it and to reconnect. So it's not just the one life thing. So if you're having your spiritual awakening in this life, congratulations. I don't know how long you've been working for this. It could be 1,000 incarnations until you are here. So props to you. The easiest and most obvious way you can connect with them is through your emotions and through your intuition. So your emotions and your intuition is not just a primal instinct. It is a highly spiritual tool that has the ability to connect you with your cosmic self. And it is such a treasurable cosmic wisdom you hold within your soul matrix. And your intuition is quite literally your cosmic or higher self, or at least the aspects of it that you can connect with from your human perspective. This means in order to connect with your cosmic self, you need to learn to trust your intuition and fine-tune yourself towards its messages and hints, and just work with your emotions and really start to feel into them and not being afraid of them, even though you might have negative emotions and you might feel like it's uncomfortable to be in your emotions so much. But never be ashamed of being emotional, because being emotional and having a high intuition and a good intuition is literally means you're just very connected to your cosmic self and you're on the right path. Your consciousness is actively communicating with you through intuition and through emotions and through your gut feeling. So this is very important to know. You can also connect with your higher self through meditation and hypnosis. But that's basically the same thing. Like, what are you doing in meditation? You're connecting to your intuition. You're connecting to your inner being, which is your intuition. And your intuition is the part of your cosmic self that you are able to perceive here in this dimension. It is literally a part of your cosmic self, because your cosmic self is not a physical being that you can touch or describe how it looks like. It is a consciousness and an energy, and your intuition is literally it, and it is how it translates into our dimension, into the physical realm, and that's how you can connect with it. So whenever you're having an intuitive feeling or just have a gut feeling about something, make yourself realize that you're actually connecting to your cosmic self and that it is actively, knowingly communicating with you right now. Like, I'm getting goosebumps right now, because when I first realized this, I was like, wow, that's like, I am not just a human. Like, even though that might sound scary at first, because we are so connected to our ego and we don't want to lose our identity and all that kind of stuff. It's like a little ego death to realize that you are not just you as you in your name. But it also opens up so much possibilities, and it just expands your mind and your heart so much, and you just realize how you're so much bigger than life, basically, and that's how you realize it. So yeah, that's really, really important to connect to your intuition and your feelings, and to realize that this is not just a primal thing or a thing that you don't have to think about it, or it's just there. Like, it's literally your cosmic self communicating with you. And lately I've seen a lot of misconceptions about the cosmic self in the spiritual community. So a lot of people state that the cosmic self or the higher self is the highest potential you can achieve in your physical life. And while this is not entirely wrong, and making decisions based on your intuition, which means based on your cosmic self, will lead us to a more fulfilled and successful life, it is important to understand the full picture, which I just told you about. Because thinking of the cosmic self as a potential or a goal of the self implies that we are not yet our cosmic self. And it kind of, it's not fair to think that about ourselves. Here lays the misconception. We are more our cosmic self than we are our human self. Our cosmic self is the literal accumulation of all our wisdom, and throughout all the countless incarnations and experiences we have made and have experienced, and from different perspectives, from different beings, species, on different planets, in different dimensions. Literally, it's the accumulation of everything. So your cosmic self is not just a potential for your future self in a physical way. Like, I want to be that inspired entrepreneur. Like, that's how people use it, and it really, I don't want people to think that it's only that it's just the highest potential. Even though we're supposed to connect with our future self and the best version of ourselves and all of that, I feel like this is just not right to think that the highest self and the higher, the cosmic self is the same as your highest potential, because it isn't. It is something very different, and the highest expression of your human self and your higher self or cosmic self are two different things which shouldn't be confused. The highest expression of our human self is more of a choice, a timeline. And by listening to your intuition, you're following the guidance of your cosmic self and therefore have a better chance to step into your full potential. But anyway, your cosmic self is so much more than that. The guidance you're receiving to step into your highest potential is coming directly from your cosmic self, though, which is an entire being, a wise consciousness, and a large, large part of your soul. So your higher parts of your soul are literally guiding the lower parts of your soul. But in the end, it's all you anyway. A whole sovereign, wise being experiencing life on different dimensions with different levels of consciousness. So that's not just a potential you can step into, it's literally you are whole as a being yourself. And if you're getting guidance from your higher self, it is literally just you on a higher dimension, and you've already ascended to that. You're just helping your lower parts or your more physical parts to understand life more and to be more connected. And yeah, in the spiritual community, we are already too obsessed with self-improvement. So thinking about the cosmic self as a higher version of us that we have to level up to can be quite toxic, in my opinion. And therefore, it can lead us further into the abyss of feeling not good enough, which is a huge problem. And yeah, it's not about leveling up to some version of us. It's about realizing that we already are that higher version, and about removing the layers of illusion that make us believe that we aren't. So a sacred spiritual truth is being tainted by trying to push it in a physical box and make the cosmic self nothing more than a mindset, a potential, a future version of us that we're trying to become. It's just not right. It's so much more than that. And I just want to give you that perspective and make you realize that you don't have to level up to some weird potential in your mind that you call higher self. Like, you are literally your higher self already. I just want to make this very, very clear. No matter which karmic cycles your physical self might still find itself in, your cosmic self is already a part of you, and you are a part of your cosmic self. It is playing out different aspects, it is experiencing life in all forms, and by strengthening that connection, we have the possibility to align more in the physical reality with what we already are in the cosmic reality. So your cosmic self is really, it is part of you. It is a higher dimensional version of you, but you don't have to level up to it. You already are it. And your physical human expression is an expression of your higher self in a lower dimension, and it is just as beautiful. You don't have to change or level up, or like all that kind of stuff is very 3D to think and very materialistic in a way, because having a vision of yourself and working towards the highest version of your human life is a beautiful thing, but it can only be truly attained by truly loving ourselves for what we already are, and by truly realizing that we have the power coming from within, because we already are those powerful cosmic beings that can just switch a timeline and become what they are on a higher dimension, on a physical dimension. Like, you already are what you are dreaming of. You just have to align with it and believe in it. And it's so much more about aligning than leveling up, just like I said. And this is my message I want to end this podcast with. Yeah, the next time you have emotions, just remember that this is your cosmic self communicating with you. It is your higher expression communicating with your lower physical expression. And this should make you feel so much more powerful than before. So have a beautiful week and much love.